So, welcome to the launch party for the Spoonies Give Yourself Grace course, which is out today. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Keziah Gibbons. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm very pleased to be in community with you all. So, the Spoonies Give Yourself Grace course is something a little different from some of my usual offerings, and it's based around my own lived experience with chronic health conditions. Today is CFS Awareness Day. I personally don't have CFS. I do have a constellation of other conditions, which mean that I am fatigued in a way which is chronic. And I do experience, like most people who live with any kind of sort of chronic illness or condition, anything fatiguing. There's quite a lot of experience that goes with that outside of the actual condition itself. And so, we deal with fatigue, we deal with the experience of living in a body that can sometimes be frustrating and not being able to do everything that we want to do. We sometimes or often have to navigate complex systems in order to access the resources we need, whether that's medical care, financial support and accommodations that we need. So this is a life-changing thing to live with fatigue. And I want to acknowledge that some of the people here will have been living with fatigue for a long, long time. Some people might be new to it, or it might be something which is temporary and then they have hope of it going away. So everybody's experience is different, but we do have a lot of shared experience. And so this course was designed really for that. I wrote the intro started to write the intro, wrote some of it in a library in Leeds, and I'm going to read you the entire intro. By the time I'd written it, I was in tears, and I realised that everything that I said in there, which was intended to be validating, which was intended to acknowledge the experience of living with fatigue, was something that I needed to hear as well. So this course is from my heart to yours, in acknowledgement that we are sharing this experience of living with fatigue in whatever form it comes to you, and that it's not always easy. Some things are beyond our control and some things are within our control. So this is an invitation to kindness, but also to empowerment, and to certainty within yourself. I don't know if anyone here knows about medical gaslighting. My guess is that you probably will. Sometimes we have to really, really advocate for ourselves just to kind of get any acknowledgement of what we're going through, any support. So this is an offering of love and support and the best I can do. I'm also going to say that it's 2:00 in the afternoon here. I'm quite low on spoons already. I didn't want to cancel this because I wanted to share it with you all, and I thought you'll understand if I go a bit brain foggy, if I'm a little bit slower than I usually am. I'm going to trust you to hold the space with me, to share the space. So I'll talk you through the intro. I'm going to be reading it here for you. And then we'll go into a short guided practice just to find a little bit of presence and a little bit of peace in this moment. So I'll invite you, if anyone isn't yet comfortable, if you haven't set yourself up to be as comfortable as you possibly can, this is your reminder to do that now. So make sure you're supported, that your body's supported, that you're comfortable, that you've got the right temperature, water if you need it, all of those kinds of things which can make a little bit of difference to our experience. So I'll read you this intro. So I start by introducing myself, Keziah Gibbons, she, her, and I'm a meditation teacher with a lived experience of living with pain and fatigue and the pacing and other adjustments that we need to make for ourselves when living with or through these experiences. This course is for you if you're living with chronic fatigue, burnout of any kind, whether neurodivergent or neurotypical, uneven energy, or any other limited capacity. It is intended as a space where you can give yourself rest and kindness for as long as you need it. In this first introductory part, I'll talk you through the meditations which follow and what you can expect. The following tracks are all their meditative practices, which give you that space to rest into. You can play them sequentially, use them at different times of day, or just come back every day or whenever you need it to a favourite track or tracks. These meditations are my offering to you, and you're free to use them in the way that will support you the most. Each meditation will invite you to make yourself comfortable in the beginning and make sure that you're well supported. I know that this is different for everyone, and so there are no expectations of being able to hold a particular position or being able to make any kind of movement. Just do as feels right for your body. You're also only invited to be still throughout any meditation if that is what is right for you on this day. If you need to change position, that is also a valid and reasonable part of the practice. Finally, although there is a guide out at the end of each meditation, there are no ending bells. I'm a great believer in the healing power of rest, and if the practice relaxes you enough to drift off, whether it be for a few seconds or a couple of hours, then I invite you to honour your body and its needs as you relax. The first 4 meditations on the course are all intended as daily practices for you to use again and again, depending on your needs on any particular day. We start with a morning meditation, which is a short, gentle practice to allow you to sense into your energy. It is much kinder to your body and to yourself as a whole being to check in with your energy at the beginning of the day, so that you have an idea of what your capacity is, than to attempt a day that is not aligned with today's capacity. I know that when living with chronic conditions, one day can look completely different from the next, and I also understand that this is not always easy to get used to, and makes it challenging to make plans. A quick check-in at the beginning of the day gives you some of the information you need to make decisions about your day ahead, and creates a space. Sorry, I'm reading and I lost my line. A quick check-in at the beginning of the day gives you some of the information you need to make decisions about your day ahead and creates a space for your body to speak to you without having to resort to screaming to get your attention. As such, this practice is one of self-love, self-care, and self-kindness, and you're invited to start your days with it to set the tone for the way you'd like to treat yourself. The next practice is a daytime nap. The guidance invites you to find a state of relaxation, and if you fall asleep, then that is simply an honouring of what your body needs. Even if you don't find it easy to fall asleep, the practice of relaxing and giving yourself intentional rest time can help you to feel restored or simply to process what you've already experienced today. The guidance ends with a gentle awareness, and you can, of course, stay where you are for as long as you wish after the practice. The third practice is a 5-minute practice for times of low concentration and energy. When experiencing brain fog or impaired focus, it can be helpful to come back to very simple awareness, and this is the purpose of this practice. It doesn't ask you to imagine or concentrate for too long, and the guidance is designed so that even if you can't stay focused for the whole 5 minutes of practice, you're invited to bring your awareness back moment by moment. Our final daily practice is an evening practice, acknowledging your day and creating space for gratitude and for recovery, with the understanding that gratitude for something and the need to recover from it can exist in the same space. You're invited to release your day before sleep. The practice can be done in the evening before bed or even as you're in bed and can be followed by any sleep meditation. Of course, my 99 Blessings and Healing Dream Sanctuary and Self Reiki for Sleep are all popular sleep tracks, which you might find here. The 3 final practices of the course are for specific situations, and you can use them as and when needed or regularly over a period where that situation is particularly relevant to you. The first is permission to rest and can be added into your daily practice. When we first come to realise that our capacity has become limited, it can be quite a challenging thing to accept. Sometimes we know the cause of what's happening with us and can access diagnosis quickly and easily, and sometimes it takes a little more time to figure out why, leaving us in a position where we have genuinely limited energy, but no framework by which to make sense of it. Even when we can make sense of it ourselves, we live in a culture where expectations are that we're able to do and carry on doing non-stop. It can be difficult to step out of this, especially when we derive some of our identity or worth from what we do, or if we have responsibilities which we don't know how to put down. Other people's expectations on us to do more than we're able to are called ableism, even when not intended to hurt or exclude. Our own expectations on ourselves to do more than we're capable of are internalized ableism. Living with the combination of limited energy or capacity plus our own internalized ableism is a unique challenge which is nevertheless very common. If you're experiencing this, you have my empathy, and I would like to acknowledge the difficulty of that experience. It is sadly beyond the scope of this course to change societal ableism, although discourse, acknowledgement, and advocacy are always positive things. However, with the permission to rest practice, I invite you to start to find ways within yourself to release internalized beliefs about what you should be able to do, to make space for kindness in the times when you can't do those things, and to give yourself permission to rest when you need to. This is not an easy process, but more than anything, I want you to know that you're not on your own. Because this is a permission to rest practice, it is designed to be restful in the guidance. The reprogramming part occurs at an unconscious level, and you do not have to do anything. If giving yourself permission to rest is a practice you're not finding easy right now, then I would advise using the practice daily for several weeks or months until you feel more comfortable with making allowances for yourself and honouring whatever your needs are in this moment. The next practice is for self-advocacy. I mentioned ableism earlier, and one of the consequences of an ableist society is that anyone who has any kind of reduced capacity will find ourselves having to advocate for ourselves at some point. We may have access needs, physical or attitudinal. We may need to put boundaries around ourselves, our space, our time, and our energy. We may need to ask for help or support. This can show up in many different ways, socially, professionally, or in accessing welfare, care, or other resources, and is an additional ask which is foisted onto those who have the least capacity to deal with it. It is not fair, and if this is something which is taking up your time and energy currently, I'm sorry to hear that. The practice of self-advocacy is a reminder that you have the right to ask for what you need. This reminder is for you. Again, we can often internalize messages such as, "Why should I get special treatment?" But getting what we need so that we can participate in life as fully as we want to is not special treatment. It is basic fairness. If you're doing or trying to do a lot of self-advocacy, it's worth being aware of the social model of disability. This model posits that it is not the disabled person who has something wrong with them, but that our society and infrastructure is designed in such a way that we are disabled. An example of this from my own experience is that steps are disabling. If an event is being held up a flight of stairs, I can't access it. If there is a lift in the building, I become enabled to attend the event. Whether or not I can walk up a flight of stairs hasn't changed, but my environment has changed from one that is disabling to one that is enabling. This model is often applied to physical environments, as with the stairs example, but the psychological environment is just as important, and this can include people's attitudes, language, words, expectations, and the way they treat you. I find this model really helpful to remember when self-advocating. You are not asking for any kind of special treatment. You are just asking to be enabled to participate in life to the same degree as anybody else. So the practice is a reminder for you that you do have the right to ask for what you need. It is perhaps the most energetic practice, as it's designed so that it can be used before a meeting, conversation, or event in which you expect to be self-advocating, but can also be used daily if that reminder that it's okay for you to exist and need what you need is something that's helpful for you at this period in your life. Internalized ableism is a tricky thing, and it's valid to give yourself that reminder. And that practice has two versions. One is a stepping, wheeling, or moving in version. But there's another version that doesn't require any movement at all, which is an energy ball practice. So choose the one that's right for you on the particular day. The final practice is a grieving practice. Living with limited energy, chronic illness, or pain is hard. If it's new to you, it can be a big change, but even for those of us who have been familiar with this for a while now, we can still have all the feelings of grief. I like to frame grief not as an emotion, but as an experience, which can contain many different emotions. There may be a sense of loss, anger, frustration, sadness, perhaps even relief sometimes, and many other things. When grieving, whatever you're feeling is valid. The trouble with grief of any kind is that we often try to continue through it. There is a careful balance to be struck here, and although life cannot be given over to grief, we do need to acknowledge it and give it space so that we can process and indeed so that we can fully live. The grieving practice is a longer practice and is simply a safe space for you to feel whatever you feel, no judgment. Grief is natural, and it can coexist with self-acceptance, just in case you weren't sure of that. You can love yourself and your life and grieve what you've lost in the same breath. This is that space. As we come to the end of this introduction, the more I realise that what I say to you is also what I've needed to hear. What Ram Dass said is true. We're all just walking each other home. Thank you for this gift. I offer you this course of meditations with love, from the heart, and with a little piece of my soul. May they serve you well in whatever your life, whatever your circumstances. May you know gentle days and kindness from within and without. May you love and be loved, and may you know joy. So that is the introduction to the course that I wanted to read for you, because I know that some of the messages in there are really important. They're things that we know, but it's good to articulate them sometimes. So thank you for listening to that. We'll go into a short practice in a moment. Okay, so we'll go into a practice, and I'm going to remind you once again to make sure that you're comfortable. This will be a short practice, and I'll encourage you and invite you that afterwards, if you want to stay in a restful state, then you can do so. So do make sure that, again, you're set up in the way that is the most supportive to you. So is your body supported? Do you have the right lighting, the right temperature? Do you have water nearby? Are you wearing comfortable clothing? All of those things, which can just make it a bit easier. And then I invite you to just sense into this moment. So, taking the breath that is right for you. If it wants to come deeper, slower, more relaxed, that's fine. If that's not available to you, then just knowing that your body's doing what it needs to do. And allowing your breath to be a flow. Noticing sounds around you. Perhaps allowing them to soften, to become sound without meaning. To become sounds on their frequency, and just allowing them to float past. And sensing into your body and whatever's there, just firstly checking if you need to make any adjustments to feel just a little more comfortable. Noticing the places where your body is supported. And noticing the felt sense of your body. So there may be places that feel heavy or light, dense or clear. Some parts of your body may feel more comfortable than others. Just acknowledging whatever your experience is and being really aware of experience as the present moment. And if there is anywhere that's uncomfortable in any way, just sending a little bit of love there, maybe a lot of love, sending a lot of love there. Maybe sending your breath there if it's available to you. And just acknowledging that this is how you are in this moment. And allowing yourself to move from moment to moment with ease. And then sensing in, and even with any discomfort, I wonder if there's anywhere in your body that feels okay or even feels nice. Just in this moment. And if that's not easy to find, if the feeling of feeling nice isn't easy to discover right now, is there a part of your body or parts of your body that feel just a little bit better, a little bit more relaxed, a little bit softer, a little bit easier? Just sensing into those places now. Just reminding yourself that you're safe in this moment. And you might be relaxing into deep stillness. Or you might discover an adjustment you can make to become even more comfortable. So just allowing yourself to do that. And we're going to sense into, firstly, the gut. So we talk about trusting your gut as a form of intuition, a form of feedback. And your gut can be one of those places that gives you feedback about what's working, what's not. So sensing into your gut and whatever you feel there, whatever physical sensation, just breathing into it, relaxing into it, but also sending gratitude there. So thanking your body, thanking your gut for keeping you informed. And appreciating that whatever's there in this moment is communicated from your gut to your brain in love, with the intention of making sure that you have all the information. And you might say to your gut, I trust you. Thank you, and I trust you. And just releasing any thoughts that might pop in or pass by about what should be happening in your body, and just trusting whatever is happening. And then allowing yourself to release that awareness and coming up now to your heart space. So sensing into the place where your heart is, behind your sternum. And again, noticing whatever's here. So there might be feelings, there might be sensations, there might be emotions. Just sensing into that. And whatever it is, just acknowledging what's in your heart at this moment and honoring what's in your heart at this moment, remembering whatever it is valid. And maybe just experimenting with seeing yourself as your heart sees you. So coming from your heart to the rest of yourself, can you experience yourself with love? Love and compassion and understanding and acknowledgement of what you feel and what you experience. And then just sending gratitude into your heart. And sending love into your heart and back out again. And then releasing that awareness for the moment and coming up to your brain, actually to your mind. And just noticing what's in your mind and what's on your mind. And this is where we carry a lot of the stories about our experience. So we have our experience, and then we have a secondary experience, which is what we believe about our experience. And some of those beliefs are really, really useful. They can help to keep us going, and some are not so useful. So whatever's there, just acknowledging it, noticing that. And if you notice that you do have beliefs or stories that are not so useful in this moment, then you can give them permission to leave for this moment. And you can always choose if and when it's appropriate to pick them up again. But for now, just giving them permission to leave. And instead bringing your awareness to this present moment. Whatever your experience is in this moment, just being with that. And appreciating your ability to experience a moment like this one, and this one, and the next one. And then before we close the practice, just checking in with yourself once again, checking in with your body, checking in with your gut, your heart, and your mind. And if there's anything you need in this moment, can you offer it to yourself? And then you can choose to rest there for as long as you like. And I'm going to come back to normal awareness now to close our live. So thank you all for sharing that practice with me.